Welcome back to LEGO Wars and the second part of our international special. Last time out we saw the defending champs Atlas grind out a victory while rookie machines Tantrum and Nightmare put on impressive performances to progress on to next week's final. This week sees the second half of our round of 32 face off against one another, including the recent All-Stars winners Panic Attack and last year's runner-up Zoey Blue. Let's see who will join them tonight.
First, from Canada, the Zoey Blue.
The sturdy Zoey Blue made it all the way to the final last year. Time will tell though whether their controlling style will be enough this time.
From Australia, Annie.
Making their LEGO Wars debut tonight, the speedy Annie will hope to chop through the opposition with their undercutting weapon.
From Ukraine, Block of Napalm.
One of two external builds tonight, Block of Napalm is equipped with a pair of mandevils to cleave through its foes.
From England, Ammonia.
The bane of Anderson's life makes its first appearance of the year with its reprofiled front wedge to help with those disintegration issues.
From Australia, Chompy Eva.
Ranked 6th for this special, Chompy returns to the arena with an ambitious suplexing setup hoping to toss its opponents aside.
From England, Diddler Mark III.
Now in its third iteration, the Diddler will be hoping the return of that Series 1 disc will take it back into the winner's circle. They're ranked 7th for tonight.
From Ireland, Deitor.
The luckless bot from the Emerald Isle returns to the arena hoping to finally break its winless run.
From the USA, Duck.
After a disastrous run in the All-Star Special, Duck will be out to restore its former glory with that signature 360 weapon.
From Brazil, Magulo.
The third and final rookie tonight, Magulo has a dangerous looking drum spinner to break everything in its path.
From Scotland, Mr. Waffle.
The first robot to represent the Tartan army, Mr. Waffle has extended the reach of that dangerous bacon bar to dish out all the damage.
From Wales, Panic Attack.
The Series 1 champions are fresh off a successful All-Stars tournament and will be a favourite once more for this championship. They're ranked 3rd for this special.
From the USA, Rusty.
Fan favourites Rusty returns to the very special that obliterated them last year, hoping for a slightly less expensive fight.
From the USA, Scorpio.
Our resident hammersaw Scorpio is back tonight with an upgraded disc to help cleave through the opposition.
From England, Sweepy.
The veteran shuffler has had a brilliant reskinning in the off-season. Let's hope their stalling weapon issues have been fixed too.
From England, Waddle 2.
The reigning domestic champions make their debut in the international championships tonight and should go far here too with that iconic Disc of Doom.
From Northern Ireland, World Orm.
The ever-present World Orm completes our international lineup armed with that bright spinning bar to smash up the competition. As with last week, we've grouped the competitors into their respective regions, so let's see how they'll line up tonight. First up is an all-GB encounter with Mr. Waffle taking on Panic Attack, followed by an all-Irish affair between Deitor and World Orm. Fight 3 is for Down Under bragging rights between Annie and Chompy Evo, and then it's two rookies, Magulo and Block of Napalm, facing off against each other. Moving into the second half, we have two All-England fights with a rematch between Diddler Mark III and Waddle 2, followed by Sweepy and Ammonia. Then it's an all-US encounter between two BattleBots fan favourites, Rusty and Scorpios. We end this round with a stacked fight between two previous international runners-up in Zoey Blue and Duck. Let's get back into the action.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
Yes, that classic clash of Waffle versus Spider. Panic Attack, representing Wales, seeded 3rd for this tournament. Legends of LEGO Wars and Robot Combat in general. Mr. Waffle, of course, representing Scotland. Do the Scots even eat waffles? I don't know, I'm the haggis man. Mr. Waffle doing damage there to Panic Attack. Although I think it's only superficial, the front face of Panic Attack is known to come off in these battles. Oh, but the front wedge which way, now that is more significant damage. Mr. Waffle's face has fallen off, but again, I think that's superficial. That bacon bar, though, oh! It's just popped off! Well, I was going to say, that bacon bar doing all the damage here, but it's just come off, and that will make Panic Attack the red-hot favourites now. They're the only robot with an active weapon in there. They're also seeded 3rd, former champions of LEGO Wars. Waffle pushing the pit button, and Panic Attack. Oh, what great tactics and timing by Mr. Waffle. Panic Attack driving over the pit. They pressed the pit button, and now Panic Attack is stuck. I think they're done for here. They're trying to pry themselves away using their lifting forks, but I don't think it's going to work for them. Surely this is academic. Yes, Mr. Waffle with one of the biggest upsets of the tournament so far. What a win for Mr. Waffle. Scotland go through to the next round. Okay, now you're just showboating, guys. Seriously. I am speechless. Mr. Waffle starting the more aggressive, got that spinner into play early on, managed to rip off Panic Attack's face there, and then even managed to tear off the front wedge, but then the bar flew off, and I thought they were done for when that happened. Panic Attack managed to get a hold of them, pried up their top lid, but then, look at this, Panic Attack driving over the pit as it went down, and that meant that Mr. Waffle could easily get the win.
The pit giveth and the pit taketh away as the Series 1 champs make it 2 out of 3 international campaigns ending up in pit-related errors. Next up is a completely fine matchup between Deitor and World Orm that's never led to any issues.
Citation needed. Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
For both historical and political reasons, I'm not allowed to make any commentary on the two nations being represented here. So, let's just get on with the fight, shall we? Deitor versus World Orm, both robots renowned for being, well, rubbish, to be honest, in LEGO Wars history. Although this is a very good attack, though, by Deitor. Underneath World Orm, pinning against the side wall. That was the first time I think we've ever seen Deitor's lifting scoop actually work in an effective lifting capacity. World Orm, also renowned for having, well, weapon problems, is so far doing brilliantly out there. The weapon hasn't flown off, it's taken several impacts, and they've hit the pit button. Deitor seems to have completely died against him in the side wall, but has come back to life now, although its side has been caved in. This is a really good battle brewing here, isn't it? I'll admit, I thought this was going to be a little bit of a more tedious battle. Neither machine has been well known for working properly in the past, but they seem to have all of a sudden, for this special at least, strap their boots on properly. Off comes one of Deitor's eyes. Deitor's littering the arena with body parts right now, it must be said. World Orm, that spinner, you know, now that they've actually managed to mount it properly, is quite an effective weapon. Deitor's scoop being used for good defense there, though, and getting underneath World Orm and plucking it into the air. Can they topple them now? They've got them high into the air there. No, World Orm falling back and getting piggybacked across the arena. Now pushing Deitor back, though. This is one heck of a fight. This is a lot better than I thought it was going to be. World Orm definitely winning on damage, I would say. Oh, goodness me. Deitor nearly in the pit there. Now, remember in the All-Star Special, they were winning against White Hole, and they nearly threw themselves down the pit. And they did throw themselves down the pit in the end, actually, so that could be something we have to watch out for later in this battle. But good aggression here now from Deitor, pinning them against the side wall, trying to pluck them over. But they can't quite get that final lift, can they? And this is a really strategic battle brewing here. I'd say this could probably be battle of the tournament so far. I'm absolutely flabbergasted. I cannot believe this. World Orm trying to bring more damage and destruction. This is a very even contest. For me, Deitor's been the more aggressive. World Orm has been the more damaging. It all comes down to control. Not too sure who I would say is more in control out of these two. Maybe Deitor, maybe. Honestly, this does go to the judges, and I think it will do at this rate. This will be a tough one for them to decide. Deitor, it may look like it's knackered, but that's only superficial damage, don't forget. All the internals are still okay. The wheels are still okay. The weapon is still okay. World Orm coming in with an aggressive slam there, but being pushed back by Deitor. We're into the final 10 seconds. This match is going to go to the judges, and I tell you what, it's going to be very, very close, and I'm glad I'm not a judge for this one. I honestly do not know what way this is going to go. What a fight that was. Deitor being a little bit cheeky there. I am ghasted of the flabber variety. I cannot believe that both these machines worked properly and actually gave us a good battle where I'm not dying of laughter. World Orm's weapon definitely proved to be the more destructive of the two, but Deitor's weapon proved to be good for defense. They managed to get quite a few lifts in as well, despite taking damage, and I say they were definitely the more aggressive and maybe the more controlled. I don't know. This is a really tough decision for the judges to make. What a fight this was.
And the winner by split decision is World Orm. With the damage being the deciding factor, World Orm scrapes through to the next round. For now though, we have the Battle of Oz between Annie and Chompy Evo.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
A real brawl from down under this one as we have Chompy seeded 6th for this competition versus Annie, and Annie's face falls off immediately. Although they did manage to do some serious damage out of the front wedge of Chompy and nearly took a wheel off there as well. This undercutter of Annie's looks formidable out there. Although Chompy managed to grab a hold of them, but they managed to wriggle away there. Annie, of course, built by some bloke called Ben from Team Panic. Never heard of them personally, but I hear they're nice. Meanwhile, Chompy would be, well, started as the favourites in this one. More damage being done there again by Annie to Chompy, and then sending their own face back to Australia. Chompy would start as the favourites in this one, seeded 6th for this tournament. They've had a lot of success in previous LEGO Wars tournaments, although this is a new weapon for them. They had grabbers last time, now they've got a lifting mechanism in there as well, but that lifting mechanism has been ripped to pieces by Annie so far, but still able to grab a hold of Annie. Trying to calm her down, maybe trying to drag her back to the outback perhaps. Trying to lift Annie, you can see there they're struggling, but I think too much of that lifting mechanism is ripped away now, so they can't get the right purchase on Annie to lift her up in the air. So I guess their main tactic now will be to maybe get the pit open and get them down the pit. Annie trying to spin themselves free using their undercutter. It's all going on in the battle so far. If I had to pick a winner of these two at the moment, I would probably say Annie winning on damage. Although I must admit, half the front seems to have been removed from Annie as well. I think that's what that panel was that flew off earlier, now I think about it. Both robots seem to be stuck together here. They're going in some sort of weird dance of death. Well, the band obviously did play Waltzing Matilda here. Annie being dragged towards the spikes now by Chompy. Chompy hoping to use those spikes, I think basically to free Annie, because they can't lift them up into the air, although they've managed to get a hold of them there, and now finally freeing themselves and flicking Annie over. Now can Annie still move? They say they can run both ways up, although I'm not too sure. The spin is spinning up to speed, but oh, they're okay. They are okay. They jolted forwards, slamming around now. Chompy slamming back into them again. Annie seems to be having control problems though, and I'm wondering if they're having radio signal issues after being flipped over. The spinner is definitely spinning up to speed. Chompy has had some serious damage done to it throughout this fight. They're going to need to make repairs, but I'd say they're winning this fight at the moment just due to the fact that Annie seems to have stopped and they are being counted out now. That is a shame for Annie. More pieces falling off of Chompy. Annie, very, very dangerous robot, yes. But the reliability was a bit of an issue, and Chompy win that one by the skin of their teeth. Well, Chompy were very lucky there. Annie causing the most damage throughout the fight by far, doing serious damage to the wheels, and of course to that weapon of theirs, also to their own face, because why not? More damage done to that lifting front of Chompy there, which meant when Chompy did get a hold of them, it struggled to lift them over, but it eventually did manage to. And I think a mixture of radio problems and reliability issues let Annie down there. Chompy won, but really, really shouldn't have.
Despite the heavy damage, it's the returning Aussie Chompy Evo that progresses through. Next up is Block of Napalm versus Magulo.
Robot ears, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
I really like the look of Magulo here with that vicious looking drum spinner named after the 11th corner in the Brazilian Grand Prix, of course. So hoping to race off into the next round. They will be causing huge damage there to Block of Napalm. The back wedge has been torn off as well. I think it's only a matter of time until we see a Block of Napalm reduced to scrap of napalm. Of course, representing Ukraine, the second of two machines representing Ukraine this series. Goodness me. And bits and pieces of it are just flying off everywhere. I'm not too sure what those two mandibles are supposed to do. They're like toothpicks, just gently tapping Magulo. And Magulo, I tell you what, looks like a robot to watch out for in this international special. This robot could go very far. That drum spinner looks absolutely devastating. Fair play to Block of Napalm, though they are withstanding the punishment well so far. More damage, look at them. Oh my goodness me, Magulo nearly threw itself in the pit. But just managed to save itself. That could be something to watch out for later in this tournament. I say later in this tournament because let's be honest here, Block of Napalm aren't winning this fight, are they? Not at this rate. They've managed to get those mandibles in there. Magulo, their drum spinning slowly. Is everything okay with that weapon of theirs? Have the mandibles of Block of Napalm somehow done something? I tell you what does seem to be a little bit wrong, and that's that wheel. Do you see it? It looks a little bit bent and a bit crooked. And I'm wondering if that wheel has broken. And if so, Magulo will not be able to get out of their circumference. And if they can't get out of their circumference, they could very well be counted out here. That would be a huge upset. Block of napalm is falling apart as we speak. It's only an embodiment of what it used to be. But Magulo isn't fully mobile. That drum spinner seems to be having trouble making contact until that point. Look at the state of block of napalm. It has been absolutely wrecked. But Magulo here, for me, immobilised and could very well be counted out unless something drastically changes. Block of napalm with a good push there, getting Magulo stuck on the arena spikes. And I think Magulo are in a lot of trouble here. And block of napalm sense it. I am absolutely stunned. And yes, there's the proof. The count is happening. And Magulo are being counted out. This is unprecedented. I'm done. I'm gone. I quit. I quit. I'm done. What on earth happened there? Magulo doing all the work, tearing apart block of napalm, bits and pieces flying everywhere, ripping it apart limb from limb. There was barely life in it, but they nearly threw themselves in the pit, and I'm wondering if that did anything. Or maybe it was this attack here. As you can see, block of napalm was able to get to that wheel, and that wheel died after that, and I think that might have been the serious damage. And then that was the final goodbye slam. Magulo out, and block of napalm through.
I'd like to take this moment to remember Anderson's sanity. Gone but not forgotten. Well, anyway, we'll move on to the next fight and a rematch from Series 1 between Diddler Mark III and Waddle 2.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
Another All England affair, this one, and the fight I've really been looking forward to. Waddle 2 versus Diddler Mark III, the two most powerful spinners in LEGO Wars, and look at the damage already caused to Diddler Mark III. Oh my goodness, I mean, one of the sides has been ripped away, motors spewing all over the arena. Waddle 2, the reigning champions, are actually unseeded, believe it or not, in this fight because they didn't compete in the last international special. Diddler Mark III seeded 7th for this tournament, and it's been absolutely mullered, although they are starting to come back. The side wings of Waddle 2 have been removed, and the spinner is now unstable, meaning it is, well, Wobble 2, I guess, not instead of Waddle 2. But Diddler Mark III have taken unprecedented damage here. Look there. How is there still life in that thing? Well, there barely is, let's be real here. Waddle 2, certainly the more in control of these two machines, even it is shaking around like a rodeo bull. Oh, dearie me, the motor's hanging out of it. Oh, dear, look at that. That is a sad sight. Diddler Mark III. Well, at least we can admit that this fight did not disappoint at all. Waddle 2 going for the pit release, and it's only a matter of time, yes, until Diddler Mark III take the plunge down the pit. Waddle 2 go through. Lorks a flippin' mercy. That was one of the best displays of destruction we've seen in a long time in LEGO Wars. Both machines taking huge hits from each other, with Waddle taking serious damage to its weapon and its side wings, but Diddler Mark III literally pulled apart by Waddle 2 and eventually sent down the pit. In one of the more stylish pittings of the series, actually. Well done, Waddle 2.
With the domestic champs avenging their previous defeat, we'll move on to the next fight between the two googly-eyed machines, Sweepy and Ammonia.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
So we have the lovable Sweepy and that stupid pink thing whose name I can never pronounce properly. Oh joy. Sweepy, off to a slow start like usual, but causing huge damage there to Ammonia's face. The eyes have come off. Well, that's summed this fight up pretty much, hasn't it? Oh dear, the side panel's coming away as well. They're getting plenty of good axe shots in though, although not really too sure if they managed to do much damage to Sweepy there. The eyes really do have it in this fight. Aye, a battle of the eyed robots, I guess you could say. Both representing England, of course. Sweepy with that huge spinner causing more damage. Ammonia, you know, It's a fragile built robot, but it does manage to take the impacts very well, and as far as I can remember, has yet to actually be knocked out. Sure, it's been pitted, but I don't think it's ever actually been KO'd, although I could be completely wrong. I am heavily intoxicated most of the time after all. Good attack here by Kato Nemoidia, pinning Sweepy against the arena wall, bringing the axe down onto those legs. Not much damage done there though. Pit button pressed. So Kato Nemoidia obviously confident that they can get Sweepy down the pit and coming in for a silent assault here. And Sweepy slowly but surely getting away from the pit, though I don't think they're moving away with enough speed. And one good push here by Kato Nemoidia could have them down that pit. The axe coming down onto the legs. I'm not too sure how much damage is being done to the legs there. Sweepy spinner not spinning back up to speed. And is Sweepy okay? Is it starting? No, it's okay. For a minute there I thought it died, but it's okay. Although I think it's getting a little bit caught on the rubble here. And one good push here from Kato Nemoidia will have it down the pit of oblivion. Sweepy on the verge of going down, and they are in the pit. Kato Nemoidia goes through, which means I have to continue trying to pronounce its name. Damn. You had one job, Sweepy. Sweepy dominated that fight, let's be honest here, doing absolute ridiculous damage to Kato Nemoidia throughout. Although you can't knock Kato Nemoidia's performance, they were very aggressive and kept bringing the fight to Sweepy. That axe was also pretty impressive as well, though it didn't really cause much damage. And after having their face ripped off, they managed to grab a hold of Sweepy like that, give a few more cheeky axe shots, and then sent it down into the pit. Kato Nemoidia go through.
Kato, you do not know the Pandora's box you've opened this day. They go through, while next up we have two more robots with faces, Scorpios and Rusty.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
So we have two more freedom fighters here representing the United States of America, Rusty and Scorpios. Both of them BattleBots legends in their own right, although for different reasons it must be said. Rusty getting a little bit of a piggyback there onto the top of Scorpios, now bringing that hammer down. Scorpios' back panel falling off. I think that's only a bit of superficial damage. Now they're getting that saw up to speed and bringing it down onto the track protector of Rusty, and it has now come off. That is serious damage. Rusty bringing the hammer down though in a very solid manner. Rusty, you know, despite, I know it's known for being a bit of a joke robot and for taking serious damage, but it is a very sturdy machine. It always puts on good performances and it always does its best, so that's all we can really ask from it, to be honest. Scorpio should have bringing in that hammer saw again and does so, not causing much damage on that attack, or did it? Something sticking off the back of Rusty there, actually not quite sure what that was and where it's come from. I also noticed that Rusty's lost an eye in this battle. Aye, it's become a bit of a Cyclops out there. Scorpios, I'd say, is on top at the moment due to the damage caused. Slightly more aggressive and controlled, although Rusty again, you can't deny that weapon of theirs is aggressive. Down it comes. Not the most effective of weapons, but it does score aggression points. Not too sure about control, I'll be honest. Scorpio, oh, Rusty, nearly getting a bit too close to the pit there, but backing away. Scorpios, I'll be honest, hasn't been the most controlled robots of this in this battle so far. They seem to be missing a lot with that saw of theirs. Rusty is making more, getting more hits, hitting the target, if that makes sense. I don't make sense, do I? Let's be honest. Rusty, though, now grounding to a halt. Oh, no, they're okay. For a minute there, I thought they saw, what the hell flew off of them there? So they went flying across the arena there. Not too sure what that was. It came off of Rusty, but what it was, I'm not too sure. Oh, dear. Look at Rusty now. No eyes left. Just trudging along, trying to bring that hammer into play. But I tell you what, Scorpius is also taking some damage in this fight. Damage isn't as one-sided as I thought it was. Looking at the amount of pieces littered in the arena, I'd actually say it's quite equal at the moment. That was the first real proper connection that Scorpios' saw has made since they took off that track protector. And is it just me, or has it actually unstabilized that saw now? Could Rusty still come back and cause a big upset? Rusty, fair play to them. They've done a very good job lasting as long as they have. I thought this was going to be easy for Scorpios, I must admit. But I tell you what, they have hung in there. They have given it their all, but they're very close to the pit. Scorpios very nearly went down the pit there. Rusty on the verge of the pit as well. Scorpios backing over a piece of debris in the arena, and that has raised its wheels off of the ground. We're in the final few seconds of this battle, so it is going to go to the judges. And I'm not too sure who they're going to go for here. That was a lot closer than I was anticipating. Good fight from both robots. Let's see if we can pinpoint who won this via the highlight reel. Rusty, definitely very aggressive with that hammer, causing damage to Scorpios early on. Scorpios managed to take out the eyes. Both robots lost a lot of armor throughout that one. Both robots landing hits with the weapons. I would say Rusty got more hits on target, but Scorpius was the more controlling of the two robots, and maybe the more aggressive. I'm not too sure. Really difficult one for the judges, this one. Very, very close.
And the winner, by unanimous decision, is Scorpios. After that close win for the Bounty Hunter runners-up, we'll move on to our last fight of tonight, and indeed the first round with a real all-star clash between two international runners-up. Let's see who will be leaving cruelly early.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
A real battle of the borders, this one. Canada versus the US of A. Zoey Blue seeded 2 for this competition. Runner-up in the last international special, Duck. A US robot that can rotate itself. Isn't that wonderful? This is, of course, the last first-round battle of the International Championships. The third International Championships. Both these robots successful in previous ones. Duck, of course, came second in the very first International Championships, I believe. Meanwhile, Zoey Blue came second in the last one. So, both robots expected to do well. It's a bit of a surprise and a bit of a shame that they've actually ended up fighting this early on. Oh, one of Duck's wheels has come off! One of the wheels has rolled away! And that there will make Zoey Blue an instant favourite to win this one. They already were, being honest. They were seeded second for the whole tournament. Expected to go far, especially after their last performance in International Special. Duck has been on a bit of a losing streak as of late. Hasn't been as effective as in previous series. Zoey Blue, good tactics there actually by Duck to use its rotating capabilities to get out of the claws of Zoey Blue. Is Zoey Blue okay here? It seems to be twitching backwards and forwards. Oh, it's okay. Lunging forwards now. Bit of a reception problem maybe. Seems to be having more problems. Both robots seem to be struggling to move now. Oh dear, this has gone from being a really good close battle to one where both robots are barely moving. What's happened there? Duck with a great lift there on Zoey. Oh! And a bit of a piggyback. I've never seen a piggyback before done by a duck, especially onto a lobster. Is Zoey Blue a lobster? I'm guessing so. With a name like Zoey, surely it's a lobster. Good self-righting there by Duck, rotating itself back onto its wheels. Zoey, meanwhile, are really starting to struggle here now. They're barely moving. Duck by far the more mobile, and we could very well see an upset here. Duck could be sending Zoey into that pit with a well-timed push and a well-timed shove. Zoey really do need to get out of there and get their weapon into good use. Good attempt there actually by Zoey, but they overturned it, and I think they've got serious control problems. And I think it's only a matter of time until Duck does have them in the pit, which will be a huge surprise. But they're on the edge and they're down. Duck followed them, yes. But Zoey went in first, and can they get away from the pit now? Yes, absolutely fantastic showboating there by Duck. That's what we want to see. That's more like it. Oh, what a good fight that was. Well, Zoey definitely started the stronger in that battle. It was the quicker, it was the more effective, it had the superior weaponry. Duck managing to get a few good cheeky little lifts in. Then one of their wheels fell off. I'm not really too sure how or why that happened. And it looked like they were done for at that point, especially with Zoey getting such good grabs like this one. But they kept managing to wiggle free using their weapon. They managed to do one of the best piggybacks we've ever seen in LEGO Wars, and then eventually dumped Zoey down the pit. That's an upset. Well done, Duck.
And that brilliant pitting takes the second seed out of this year's International. It's been a spectacular night of action, with pre-tournament favourites crashing out as some of our previous underperformers have shone to progress onto our International Finals, so make sure to join us next week where we'll crown a new LEGO Wars International Champion. For now though, I've been your host David Smeg, and we'll see you in the next one.
why we need the extra bit of a remat.
That was recording, wasn't it?